the issue with taking somebody from New England and in this copycat league is this. Because this guy, Nick Cassera, so how many people have been knocking on the door for his
Houston
services
has
for
been
a long
trying
time,
to hire
right?
him for years.
Right. So basically, you get somebody who has been privy to Belichick's mindset on how to evaluate players, which in itself, as you know, in New England, in the Bill we trust, it gets questioned. He's not 100%. He's not infallible. Okay? I mean, this is an organization that had a first-round selection targeted for a wide receiver and went N'Keal Harry over DK Metcalf, which could be a red flag question with his health.
Yeah,
I mean, the kid had an injury with a neck that caused him to leave Ole Miss way earlier than a lot of evaluations. And, of course, New England's not the only team that missed on that evaluation. But what I'm saying is the issue is taking someone from New England and saying, do it here. How many teams have done that? The Jets did it with Eric Mangini. The Broncos attempted it with Josh McDaniels. The Lions just attempted it and fired both their general manager and coach after a few short years. Bill O'Brien, they tried it in Houston, which is why it's a tough sell to try it now again with Nick Caserio. And the problem with doing it, and we have seen why it doesn't work a lot, is the same reason why the alien ship in Independence Day could only be operated by an alien and not a human. Because it's the same reason why the Colts offense, when Peyton Manning went down, could not be operated by anyone else. Because there's only one alien who knows how to operate the machinery. You could get somebody from the Belichick tree, but you don't get Belichick. And the only one, really, if you think about it, who is from the Belichick tree, who has been able to replicate it just like Bill, is Nick Saban, but at the collegiate level. The my way or the highway, Patriot way of doing things is the Alabama way. And it works. And it was the LSU way, and it was the Michigan State way before that. Not to the same amount of success as it is the Alabama way, but it didn't work as the Dolphins way. And the problem with doing this is you just showed Houston and the fan base, we tried it the Belichick New England way, even though it's not the same exact way, but you took someone from the Belichick tree. That's all you need to know. From the PR optic standpoint, you took someone from the Belichick tree and had him do it as a coach and then gave him the Belichick treatment of you decide it all. You pick the players, you shop for the groceries, and you coach them. Such a rarity in the NFL. And you gave it to Bill O'Brien, and the results wound up at the very end disastrous. From DeAndre Hopkins to the fact that they fire him in the middle of a season, a pandemic season where there aren't even fans in the stands to boo and make things even worse. You have to fire him in the middle of a season, and you're left without a first and a second round draft choice so you could get the best possible coach to come and say, I can't resist this. That's why Urban Meyer's actually talking to Shad Khan today, reportedly, at all. Is because there's the cap space, the ability to choose your general manager. There's no state tax coming out of your paycheck, but there's also Trevor Lawrence coming. Well, the only thing that Houston's got going for him is we've got Deshaun Watson. So a fan like the gent who just called to basically be told, we're going to try the Patriot way again, you can't blame him for feeling that way or for Deshaun Watson to do something so out of character, to tweet something out so disillusioned. It's the same way, I'm telling you, I know my colleagues love him, and I got to meet him at a Pro Bowl. I actually had sushi with him at a Pro Bowl. Brian Schottenheimer, who's the current offensive coordinator in Seattle. I'm hearing his name sometimes being mentioned for the Jet job. And I'll just say this on behalf of the Jets fans who watched him as the offensive coordinator of the ground and pound Rex Ryan years. Those were really close, really good. You want to tell the Jets after all of this, we're going to run it back with a guy who used to be here and it flunked? Now, he could be much better than he used to be, and he now is much wiser and is ready for the head coaching job and can prove it elsewhere. It's possible. But that'll be a tough sell to the Jet fan base. I'll tell you that right here, right now. And that could be just total fickle nonsense. Don't forget, Kyle Shanahan, one of the best play callers as everyone thinks right now, hired by San Francisco, is like, oh, this guy, once again, pooped the bed when it was all coming down to it with his play call in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl. He can't do it when it's all on the line. Now anybody would take him in a heartbeat. People are taking his run game coordinator and being an offensive coordinator. People taking his defensive coordinator wanting to be a head coach because they're taking someone who's watched Shanahan do it. They'll take anybody who's close to a play caller for Kyle Shanahan right now. They'll take Kyle Shanahan. And the 49ers will say, pound sand, we're not taking our guy. And he was damaged goods when they hired him.
Super Bowl.
So, you got to be careful saying that this guy is going to just run it back and be just as bad as Bill O'Brien. He could be different. That's all part of why it's so tough to hire somebody and why some owners go and say, let's hire Corn and Ferry to tell us what to do. So at least we can tell our fan base, hey, we spent money on a headhunting firm. We turned over every rock before this guy pooped the bed. So you do have to be careful to say Nick Caserio, we're going to run back. He could be totally different personality-wise and whatever. And he's also sat next to Belichick. But you better find the coach who can be your Bill. Good luck with that.
I have no explanation for what happened.
This is all because there is a PR game. There's a PR game involved here. You got to know your fan base and who you're pissing off and who you're not. Otherwise, if you don't, then somebody's PSL doesn't get renewed. You got to know. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.